My relationship with Impact is one like Al and Peggy Bundy. I swear, man. I'm just so Al Bundy on Impact. I just sit there with my jowls and my sad face, remembering back when I was in high school, which was in like 1999. That's how I'm old. Anyway, let's talk about Impact Wrestling, man. Jesus. Impact is always a long show. I don't care what anybody say. Impact is the longest wrestling show on TV. It feels like it's on for 6 hours. Usually because I watched the pay per view before it. They show pay per views before Impact now. Believe it or not, like 2012 pay per views and stuff. But those things breeze by even with commercials. The actual show feels like it's on for 7 fucking hours. It's unreal. I don't know how that happens. Anyway, let's talk about Impact. So to start the show, Deonna Purrazzo defeated Jazz. It was because Susan hit Jazz in the head with a shoe. Jordan Grace was outside the ring for Jazz because that's her tag team partner. Jazz and Deonna Purrazzo had Susan, just Susan, no Kimberly. Jordan Grace went over there to stop Susan from interfering. She was interfering earlier. Somehow she rammed Jordan Grace's head into the barricade and then, whopped Jazz with her shoe and allowed Deonna Purrazzo to pin Jazz. So there that is. As far as I know, I believe I've seen that Jordan Grace is on the verge of leaving Impact. That I think her contract is coming up soon. And she's, thinking about whether to jump back, well, sign back up with Impact or to jump ship to NXT or AEW. Obviously, that is an option. I would imagine that if Ring of Honor had a women's division, she'd probably go to work with her husband, Jonathan Gresham. If I remember correctly, I think they're married. I think that would be an option for her. I don't know. See, she's did everything there is to do in Impact, and I think she kind of hit a ceiling. Maybe it is time for new challenges. And look, not exactly the biggest fan of Miss Piggy, but a lot of people seem to like her. And just saying, if she keep her options open. Deonna Purrazzo is ruling the roost right now. She is legit, and deserves to be. It's not just like some bullshit in the air. Deonna Purrazzo definitely deserves to be the champion right now. But Impact can't keep losing talent without bringing talent in. That's a big problem, especially the women's division, because that's what they pride themselves on. They need to really get out there and get active and trying to get some new women in this women's division, because these same women have been wrestling for like 3 months. This is really stale. And I love Deonna Purrazzo, but we need some fresh blood in there with her. Yeah. So the Good Brothers get made fun of for losing. The tag team titles, they were making excuses. Said they were drunk, hungover, and everything. So Eddie Edwards confronted them, said, "Oh, so now you guys are one of the boys. When you guys were the champions, you didn't want to dress with us. Now, you've lost the titles. You want to be in the locker room." So then they got mad, and they were like, "You know what? We'll take our leave. We'll get out of here. We'll go hang out with Kenny Omega, who is on the show today, on the show this week." Anyway, the Good Brothers leave, and they run into Rosemary, who is for some reason right outside the men's locker room. I know she's hanging with the other members of Decay. I think that's weird that they hang out in the locker room. But Rosemary was there. She cut a little promo on them. Whatever. Best part of the show. 100% best part of the show. We get to meet our white meat baby face, Johnny Swinger. And we get a full introduction into Swinger's Palace. We get the storyline. We know what's going on now. So Johnny Swinger, with the money he stole from Fire and Flavor, has started this illegal casino somewhere in the Impact Zone. And he's still very loud about this. Alicia Edwards, it doesn't work there. Alicia Edwards is a... It was so good. She was sitting there with a cigarette, right? Like, she was sitting there with a cigarette, and she was like, other casinos, when they see you've been sitting there for 9 hours with no sleep, they send you home. But Swinger's Palace, they keep dealing the cards. That shit was great. And in between And in between these little advertisements was Johnny Swinger with these very mediocre looking white women grinning like, yeah, daddy. Getting kisses on the cheek and stuff. It was great. It was so cheesy. So then there was another guy. He talked about he lost his job, but he's gonna eventually hit it big in Swingers Palace, and he's gonna show his good for nothing brother, uh, who is the real black sheep of the family. And then we get Johnny Bravo was talking about how he got shot at his wedding, and now he works at Swingers Palace. He's the dealer at Swingers Palace. And he's looking off camera as he got this big idiot smile on his face, and he's like, "Is that what you wanted me to say? Is that what you wanted me to say?" It's like, yeah, that is. So, this was our great introduction. It's been going on for several weeks now, but this is a great introduction. There was only one thing that was connected to Swingers Palace this week, and it made me very, very mad, very angry. Falaba, fat fuck Falaba was sleeping in what looked like a makeshift tent. And if you ever seen Falaba, he looks like 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag all the time. And Rohit Raju, another one of my favorite wrestlers. Jesus, I mean, we can't get enough Rohit Raju. So this guy, he trips over Falaba, or he stumbles into him. Then they argue, and Rohit Raju, he from the looks of things or from the smell of things, because Falaba stinks and he's poor and he's been sleeping in the impact zone because he spent all his money in Swingers Palace. He's got a gambling addiction. And then Falaba decides that he's gonna fight him because he said that he was poor and that he was pathetic and that he's got a gambling addiction when he's clearly doing all of the above. He clearly was been wearing the same clothes all this time. He clearly was asleep when Rohit Raju ran him over. And look, this is horrible. This is horrible, man. Get this shit away from Swingers Palace, okay? Get this shit out of here. Get this shit out of here. I only want cool things hanging around Swingers Palace. I don't need this excess. This is shit. I don't need Rohit Raju or Falaba anywhere near Swingers Palace. They need to both get the fuck on. Rohit Raju won the match, by the way, and it was some bullshit anyway. That was later in the show. I don't care. Who cares about that shit? So TJP versus Ace Austin, pretty good match. They could have good work together. It ended disqualification because Madman Fulton interfered and stopped TJP from winning with the Mamba Splash. I don't see why Ace Austin being booked so weak all of a sudden. I don't see why he just didn't beat TJP. He already beat him once. They need some fresh blood in Impact very badly. They're changing up who the champion is. That's not gonna fix the problem. The problem is that your X division is just about dead. In your women's division, two things that you pride yourself on, they're just about fucking dead. They need new talent. They're trying to find new ways to keep these same feuds going over and over again. But Josh Alexander came in to help TJP and kept the old fires burning. Kept the old fires burning. Then we get Matt Cardona, who did a sit-down interview to talk about why he's come to Impact Wrestling. And this guy has been in the business for 20 years or so, and he's still cutting the Pro Wrestling is My Dream promo. For fuck's sake. He's been in the business 20 years. He's still cutting the wrestling, being a wrestler is my dream promo. Oh, Jesus. So he started talking about his the importance of social media, how he was a pioneer in social media, and always be ready, and you gotta be business all the time. So he basically says, they get into Brian Myers. So he says it was a coincidence that him and Brian Myers both ended up in Impact. That he, yes, Brian Myers came to Impact first, and he says I got signed a couple of months later. I didn't come here because of him. I didn't come here to interfere with him. I didn't come here to be a tag team with him. I'm just here to do my thing. Impact is the land of opportunity. There's no glass ceiling, but there's also no safety net. I'm here to make it work. I'm here to be the guy, to be the best I can be, to reach my full potential. But Brian Myers has been, bad mouthing them. And he says, "Look, I don't really want to fight you, but if this is what it takes to get this over with, I'll fight you. But win, lose, or draw, we're done. It's over. Regardless of who wins, it's over." If they were smart, this match would go on the same night they do Omega and Swan, because these are guys who, at least with Cardona, is a guy that has history. He's going to be one of your higher profile names. You want to keep him around. And keep him and elevate him, put him on a pedestal. As far as, I'm not saying put the title on him or anything like that. I'm just saying make sure that he's visible for people who may say, "Oh, I didn't know he was here. I didn't know Zack Ryder was here." Whatever. But I don't care about these two guys at all. These two guys suck. Brian Myers and Matt Cardona, they both suck. Oh boy. So we get Trey Miguel, and he's just sitting there. He's just fuming. He's just a very angry small man. Him and Finn Balor are the most miserable people on TV. Trey Miguel is just miserable. Like, he is pacing like a wild animal, and there's no cage. Like, when you talk about like a lion pacing in a cage, there's no cage. You just he just starts throwing chairs and throwing a bag. And then, Triple XL walk up to him like, "Hey man, that was my bag. What are you doing?" And Trey Miguel's like, "That was your bag. That was my bag now. I want that bag now." And I'm like, no, more fat fucks. No, man. Come on, man. Triple XL and followed by in 1 week. Lobotomize me now. Cut my fucking brain out right now. Come on, man. Come on, man. Cut me some slack, baby. Cut me some slack. Come on, man. Bullshit. This is some bullshit. So Tommy Dreamer came in as they were arguing, and Tommy Dreamer suggested they fight in a barbed wire exploding ring match. And Trey Miguel looked at him like, "What?" And then, of course, they made the joke, "Oh, that didn't work last time somebody tried to do it." And then Tommy Dreamer was like, "Okay, I was just joking. And then, Triple XL left. And then Trey Miguel continued to breathe very hard and demanded to fight AC Romero. And then Tommy Dreamer was like, "Look, man, you need to go talk to Scott D'Amore. I'm booking the card for Hardcore Justice. I'm not booking for the card for tonight, but I'll talk to him for you." And he says, I was just joking about the whole exploding barbed wire thing because I was trying to diffuse the situation. I saw that you were going to, you were blowing up. I see where you're going. You're letting Sami Callihan get in your mind, man. And I just think about how my career would have been so much better if I hadn't let somebody get into my head. I let this guy get into my head. He distracted me from all of my goals and dreams and all of this type of stuff. And I was like, "Is he talking about Raven?" Like, I hope he's talking about Raven, because that would only be the only way this shit would make sense. Yeah, he got to be talking about Raven. Raven was the best thing that ever happened to Tommy Dreamer. Tommy Dreamer had no future without Raven. Anyway, he basically told Trey Miguel that he wanted to see Trey Miguel live up to his full potential, and he can only do that if he resists the temptations that that Sami Callihan is putting forth. So we didn't even get the paid ad between Tony Khan and Kenny Omega was actually there. They bantered back and forth where Tony Khan blamed Omega for that horrible promo he cut on Elevation. "You made me do something I really didn't want to do, Kenny." And I'm like, ugh. It was stupid. They need to stop doing these paid ads. They suck. They're real bad. So anyway, nothing really happened until Kenny Omega and Don Callis went in the ring, and this was super long. This was a very long promo to make one or two major points. There was only 2 points made. This promo was like 15 minutes, 10, 12 minutes maybe. I don't know. It was a long time. It was a long time. But there was only 2 points made. that Kenny Omega can beat anybody with the one winged angel, and that Rich Swann should be prepared for it. He's already lost two at once, and that and that Kenny Omega is the best wrestler. That he's better than Hackenschmidt, he's better than Hogan, he's better than Flair, and then of course Kenny Omega being a mark yelled, "I'm better than the Bushi," and that then Don Callis, then we get the silly shit. So even though I wrote down a lot of this promo, I'm not gonna go through all of it. Don Callis says, like, I work here at Impact, but I want Impact to succeed. I want everybody to be a success, but I want to see I'm ensuring the legacy of Kenny Omega. And to do that, I will suck the blood of Impact. And then Kenny Omega is back there like, suck him, Don. Suck him, Don. Like, bro. Why is everything with the sissy slap fight guy homoerotic? Why is everything with Kenny Omega homoerotic? Why is Kenny Omega so homoerotic? Why? Why is he so weird? Why? Explain to me why. Nobody can explain why this guy is telling Don to 69 him and then telling Don to suck him. I don't get it. I think it's supposed to be funny. I'm more weirded out than funny, than laughing. His shoes, I forgot to mention his shoes. Weirdest shits I've ever seen. His feet had hood ornaments on them. Weirdest shit in the world. I understand, the old Jimmy Hart, you dress like everybody else, he treats you like everybody else, but Kenny Omega, he takes it to the next level. I think Seth Rollins got him beat, though, because Seth Rollins never wears socks, and, he dresses absolutely ridiculously. He dresses absurd. Both of them do. But I think Rollins is more funny because he's having fun with the way he dressed. I don't know about Kenny Omega. I'm not so sure what's going on there. So basically, they wrapped it up by saying Kenny Omega wrapped it up by saying Swann's career is going to be a footnote, and that there's already not much to remember, but this is going to be the greatest day for Impact since the last time he came to Impact, which was the best day for Impact, but to him it was Tuesday, and that him winning the title would be history. And I just was like, Don Callis can talk fine. Kenny Omega probably shouldn't. He needs to go to promo class. He needs to pay whatever they're gonna, they need to open it up though. WWE lets to have people have promo class, and Kenny Omega needs to go there. He needs to go to promo class and learn how to talk. He's not good. He feels like a guy playing a character. He's not good. He feels like he puts that on and takes that off. It's not good. It sucks. So the next thing we get was actually very good. Violent by Design. They were talking about Rhino. And Eric Young says, if I were a scientist in a laboratory and I wanted to build the perfect fighter, strong, fast, destructive, it would be like Rhino. He says, but I'm not a scientist, and it's not a lab. Rhino was born violent by design. It's in his DNA. All I had to do was reawaken the war machine. He says, like everyone, he had the sickness. He feels remorse, and remorse is a weakness. He says that he was addicted to the roar of the crowd, so he had to baptize him in the waters of change. And they've changed how Rhino looks, even though I don't know how his gear and stuff going to look. But Rhino's he's wearing his hair differently now. It's not a haircut. It's just he's just wearing it differently. He looks different, which gets him out of Big Show limbo with me. That's always been my problem with Rhino. Is that he looks the fucking same every time I see him, right? And I couldn't tell what year it is when I see Rhino. It's just like I couldn't tell what year it was when I saw Big Show. I just be like, God, I'm just transported back to 2002 or some shit. Like, fuck. Big Show, but Rhino is the same way. I would be transported to another time and place, like, oh my God, what year is it? Is it 1999? Is it 2000? But this is different. And I like this because it's going back to what Rhino was. Rhino was actually not bad as the War Machine, especially in his TNA days. So this is going back to his TNA Rhino days. So I'm good with this. I'm good with Rhino being violent by design. It makes sense. I love this. To continue along with the Eric Young piece, Eric Young was challenged by James Storm. James Storm has had 999 matches in Impact. It's a lot of matches, dog. He's going to have his 1,000th match in Impact alone next week. I think he has more matches in Impact than anybody. And his 1,000th match in Impact will be against another TNA original in Eric Young. I think that's awesome. I'm not a big fan of Eric Young, but I like that. I like that they're going to do something big for James Storm's 1,000th match. That's awesome. That's awesome. It's not going to be a good match because Eric Young sucks. But I love everything about Violent by Design right now. I'm really enjoying the Rhino edition, considering I've been very hard on Rhino and I'm very hard on Eric Young because I don't like Eric Young. I think they're really doing some good stuff here. The characters are they're the sickness is vague. Like you don't know exactly what the sickness is, but the sickness might just be being a babyface, or the sickness might just be being in love with pro wrestling. And because that's really what it was from the beginning. Was Eric Young was just, oh, I love wrestling, I love being a wrestler and all that type of stuff. But now it seems like being weak is the sickness. And that they had all these various weaknesses. Like Rhino's weakness was remorse. He had remorse for everything that he used to do. That's why he stopped being the War Machine. And he tried to be everyone's friend. That's why he was going to being Heath's buddy Rhino. And he had to get rid of that. He had to cut that out of his life. And Heath being gone now, it helps with that. And I like that they're doing this now because it gives Heath something to do when he comes back. Because Rhino still has the tag team championship thing in his back pocket. They're going to end up probably using it on Violent by Design to get them the tag team titles, which would be cool. But, that's going to lead to a storyline when Heath comes back because he got injured. That, the tag team championship thing was used and Rhino turned heel and became a huge dick. So that it gives me something to go with. Not only is it good in the moment, but it gives me something in the future that might be interesting. So we might actually get to see Heath cut serious promos. Heath might actually get to cut a serious, realistic, real life down from the heart promo. And I'm down with that because he can do that. He's better than Zack Ryder. Shit, if you're going to push anybody from WWE that they fired, it should be Heath. It shouldn't be Zack Ryder. So, all right. So Nevaeh and Havoc, they're a tag team again. They're buddies again. So then Fire and Flavor came in and said, okay, you guys want to challenge us? It got to be non-title. So Havoc and Nevaeh accepted the non-title challenge because they were on a roll after winning a tag team match last week. The opponents they beat were Tenille Dashwood and Caleb with a K, who appeared this time. And, Tenille then said, hey, look, I understand that, you guys won last week, so you're on a roll. But when was the last time you won a solo match? Maybe because you don't have the right partner, you don't win a solo match. And then Havoc is like, look, I told you I don't want to be your partner. You need to beat it. And then Tenille Dashwood was like, oh, this is going to be so awkward. But I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to Nevaeh. And then Nevaeh was like, what? You're talking to me? And then Havoc basically told her, like, get out of here. Just beat it. Just go away. And then Nevaeh was like, what are you doing? So I was like, all right, this makes sense. Still not showing me any of Nevaeh's personality, but we're doing something different here. That maybe Nevaeh is going to turn heel on Havoc and join Tenille Dashwood now. Okay, cool. Whatever. Maybe she can be her Reba to Tenille Dashwood's Britt Baker. I already talked about Trey Miguel beating AC Romero. No, I didn't, because I didn't talk about Sammy Callahan. So Sammy Callahan, after AC Romero did the job for Trey Miguel, and AC Romero was literally 4 times the size of Trey Miguel. He's literally 4 times this guy's size. He was taking bumps for him, beat him like a meteor or something. It was ridiculous. It's absolutely insane. Um, anyway, Larry D jumped Trey Miguel after the match, and then Sammy Callahan teleports to the ring through computers, no, through BlackBerry, iPad, or whatever the fuck it was. He just pushed a button. It was a flip phone or something. It probably wasn't a flip phone, for Christ's sake. He pushed a button on a some type of pad, and he appeared with a baseball bat, hit Larry D, hit AC Romero with the bat. Trey Miguel was like, whoa! And then Sammy Callahan teleported away again. So we still playing the Sammy Callahan, Trey Miguel stuff. Okay. I like the mind games. It's interesting. I like Trey Miguel. I don't like the Warthog, but I'm giving the Warthog credit for doing something interesting. I don't like the teleporting. I don't like Magic. We got too much of that shit. It's 4 different companies doing Magic now. Well, 3 that I know of. Impact is doing Magic. AEW does Magic. WWE is doing way too much fucking Magic. There's too much of that shit going on right now, man. It's too much of it. But it is what it is, man. We're stuck with it. All right, so we get Rich Swann talking. And Rich Swann is like, you think you get in my head, man? You think you could get in my head just by showing me taking that one-winged angel from different directions, different camera angles, man? You can't get in my head, man. You don't even know me. I'm like, this motherfucker, dog. And then he gives me the old, I've been battling adversity my whole career. I'm like, these dudes are so generic. God, it's like a template. It's like create a wrestler. From a fucking video game. Everybody has the same dream. Everybody has the same adversities. What the fuck? Everybody's the same. What the fuck? I've been doing this my whole life, man. I'm like, no. Find me. Instead of saying, I've been going through adversity my whole life. Give me something else. Give me something uniquely Rich Swann. Give me something uniquely Rich Swann. Like, I know Rich Swann has a similar story to other people on the roster, but I know Rich Swann's story is very, deep. The whole thing with his parents dying, or his mom dying, rather, him being homeless. The way he lost his previous job to WWE, and all the stuff that he's been through. It makes sense for him to say, look, I've been through adversity, yada, yada, yada. But don't put it like that, because everybody says that. Everybody says that. You have to find a different way of saying it. Booker T said something I think was pretty sweet. He says, like, pro wrestling is doing what everybody else do, just a little bit different. So sure, everybody's gonna talk about their dream and how they're, they went through all this stuff, but there has to be a way of putting this shit together where it feels natural and it feels unique to you. I can literally swap out anybody in this promo and it will make just as much sense. It does not have to be Rich Swann. That's why this shit sucks. It sucks because anybody can cut this promo. Knee injuries, yada, yada, yada. It's like, fuck. This sucks. Ugh. Anyway. The main event of the show was Carl Anderson, Machine Gun, Carl Anderson versus Jorts, Eddie Kingston. And not Eddie Kingston, Eddie Edwards. And Carl Anderson defeated him. Then Finjuice mocked the Good Brothers via Zoom. Not Zoom, but via video message, talking about how they're defending the tag team titles in Japan and they're winning a lot. And the Good Brothers, I know their luggage is a lot lighter because they lost 10 pounds each. And I was like, oh, okay. And then we went off the air. Impact sucks again. It sucks again. It sucks again. Oh. It's so bad. But Swingers Palace is good stuff. Violent by Design is doing good stuff. They just so badly need new blood. They so badly needs like some young guys who are exciting, who can play characters. They need that. They need some new women that can play characters and be good challengers to Deanna Purrazzo. They just don't have the stuff. They don't have the ingredients of a good show. You know, they don't even have the ingredients for a good show. So it's not ever really going to be good. It's a shame. So I got to put my hands in Al Bundy, hands in my waistband, sulking. Another week of watching Impact Wrestling. Jesus.
Yeah, shed light. I know what that's like.